Welcome, bronies, to the FOB Equestria Podcast. I'm Sonnerhoof, and today we have with us for the podcast, first off, Spangle.
I'm alive. Hi.
He's going to be temporarily handing over the narrator reins to me while he goes on deployment. Tweak, he's also here.
Oh my gosh, it's Twerk.
Silvermane is here.
Hello, everybody.
Navy is here.
He's having a puppy.
Hello.
Josh is here.
Hasbro hates me.
And Brony Joe is here.
Hello, hello.
Okay, that's everybody. First off, we can move on to news. That's simple enough. Specifically military news. This past week, we had a Washington Post article in, I think it was on Sunday, that specifically mentioned that even though the rest of the DoD is going to be pulling out of the Middle East, the United States Marine Corps is going to be keeping a kind of like QRF team in the region under CENTCOM in the country of Dubai. I was wondering what you... Oh, wait, no, my bad. It wasn't Dubai. It was Jibuty. God, I love that name. Jibuty. Anyway, that they're going to be just standing by for any sort of crises that may occur. What do you guys think about that so far?
Crises like the entire Middle East?
Yes, those specific types of crises.
Not what he was saying.
Well, okay, yeah, but the thing, what always gets me is that, look, I'm not going to get on some anti-war, we shouldn't do over there. But the thing is, I mean, the whole region is kind of unstable. And to think that we could just completely leave is ludicrous because if we do, lots of bad things are going to happen. So I really think that having some sort of small presence there is a good thing, but it's a question of we don't want to start turning into police,
Yeah, Spangle?
Well, we still got people in Germany from World War II. We still got people in Japan, especially Japan.
Yeah, we got people in Korea, but then those places are awesome, and they're not, Djibouti.
Yeah.
Djibouti is pretty awesome. Spangle?
So, okay, I agree with pretty much what Tweak is saying here. We really don't want... Sometimes, you hear people say, well, America's the world's police, but we don't really... I agree with Tweak. We really don't want to end up becoming the police for the region, honestly. But in terms of keeping a force there, I know for a fact the Air Force has said, yes, we're pulling out our main forces, but we're still going to keep air advisors, quote unquote, there in a capacity to help Afghanistan in the near future keep building up their military capacity. So our main forces coming out, we won't have any like police forces, security forces, anything like that there, but we still will have advisors there even after the pullout. So the Air Force is staying around. I know that much. So it's not just the Marines.
Yeah, I've noticed I don't think a lot of people realize just how spread out, especially the Marine Corps, is when it comes to like being out in duty stations and whatnot. I know that they just tried to put 2,000 Marines in Australia. Obviously, there's moves to Okinawa. They were questioning whether or not they were going to leave Okinawa and go to New Zealand. There's stations in the Philippines and the Horn of Africa. Obviously, back in Europe and Germany. There might, I think, there's some forces in like American Ghana, or American Guinea, or I don't know, whatever that country is called, in South America. It's hard to pronounce some of these names.
Well,
Only Djibouti is the best country name. Djibouti.
You also have to realize that the Army has pulled out of places before and it's been fine. Like, well, not fine, but the Philippines is a good example. We used to have a sizable presence in Manila. When I visited there on a 4-day weekend when I was stationed in Korea, went to see the old barracks there, and it was a pretty decent size. And when we left, because they wanted us to leave, I mean, it's not exactly, boardwalk, but it's like the whole country didn't fall apart. So it is possible for us to pull out and not completely screw up the region.
All right, Spangle?
I agree with what he's saying. Honestly, it's hard to tell what's going to happen with Afghanistan once we come out of the region, more or less. Once we no longer have a standing force, quote unquote. Again, we aren't really counting the air advisors and stuff like that, the people who are staying along in a kind of mentor capacity. But it's a lot has changed in that region, but it's also, you look at Iraq, some people say, how it's kind of fallen back into chaos a bit in Iraq, and people are kind of wondering if the same thing's going to happen with Afghanistan. And really, only time can tell. So you don't know if the region is going to eventually stabilize, if it's going to go back to being how it was or worse, or if it's going to it'll probably end up taking a few steps back at least, but it's because there's always going to be that rough transitional period. But it's hard to say how exactly everything's going to unfold.
Yeah, I was actually looking into that. The Iraqi military and police were actually making a big push into Fallujah. That brought back a few memories. I was like, holy crap! I guess they couldn't keep everything settled. Back in 2007, I think it was. Yeah, 2007. It was pretty quiet. I don't know what happened since then, but whatever. They got to do what they got to do to help their country. So, Silvermane, go ahead.
We've been there since, 92? The Sunnis and Shiites have basically hated each other for a couple thousand years, or since 600 AD, just about. I really don't see us doing a whole bunch of good there. Yes, when we're there, we can force them to quit shooting and killing each other so much, but as soon as we leave, it's going to escalate back up again. I hate to see it, but I really don't know if there's an answer to it. It's ingrained into them almost.
Yeah, you're right.
It's one of those problems that they themselves have to solve.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, even when we pulled out of Vietnam, there's still a division between the North and the South. There's Southerners and Northerners in Vietnam. Hell, I mean, let's look at the United States. There's Northerners and Southerners in the United States. All right, next topic. In the news came information saying that the DoD is going to start accepting beards and religious headgear in uniform. So that's a new piece of news. There's a picture of an army, I think he's a chaplain or something maybe, who's a Sikh that you probably saw somewhere on the internet recently. Wondering what you guys thought about that.
Well, okay, here's my big opinion on that. Look, I'm all for religious freedoms. You can do whatever you want as far, to celebrate your religion. The problem is, the reason we have, like in the Army, AR 670-1 tells me I can't grow a beard because it doesn't look professional. That's why, by regulation, I'm required to shave even on the weekends when I'm not on duty because I'm a soldier 24/7. My thing is now, okay, you're saying this dude with the big bushy beard and the twirly mustache looks professional. The logical question is, well, then why can't I grow a beard? I mean, yeah, it's not my religion, but if I can do the same job as him and still look professional with that beard, I mean, why not? It's just, to me, it opens up. I don't know. I can't say yes or no whether I like it or not. I'm just saying, derp.
Silvermane.
That article also said that commanders have the authority to put the kibosh on that if it hurts mission effective. Like, you can't wear a gas mask with a big bushy beard on. So any unit that has a gas mask or has a requirement to do it, I don't think they're going to let them do it. Now, the yarmulke thing, that's been around, 20 years that I know of. I've got a couple. I just don't ever wear them. I don't know how big of a deal it's going to be. They said there's only 3 Sikhs in the Army right now. I remember years ago, I don't know if they still do it, people used to put diesel fuel on their face so they could get a shaving profile because it'd make your face break out in little bumps. So I don't know how far they're going to go with this. I mean, they mentioned something about weekends, but they didn't say what special accommodations they wanted. I'm just probably just going to take a wait and see attitude. I don't know. I don't think it's going to get all that big, but if commanders have the authority to nix a beard, I imagine most of them will probably do it.
I think that's a pretty good point. Silver made a good point that I actually wasn't even thinking about, honestly, is the whole, okay, my issue with the military, and I shut up in color most of the time, just because there's no point in arguing it. But my issue is, well, professional is a very subjective term. It really is. You look at a lot of the other militaries of the world, and they allow their members to grow beards. And apparently they don't think it's unprofessional. America seems to have a different sort of mindset on that. But then Silver brought into...
America has a different mindset on everything.
This is true. You make a good point. But then Silver brought into the whole factor of, well, what if it hurts mission effectiveness? If you're in a unit, if you're on a, in a tasking that requires you have a gas mask and be able to put on that gas mask should the threat become, prevalent, then that beard is going to hinder that. It's a legitimate concern at that point. In those circumstances, I see a logic there. I say, yes, definitely clean shaven. You need to be able to get that gas mask on so you don't die. That's kind of important. But as far as, I hear what Tweak is saying. And honestly, I've kind of had that mentality for a while. It's like, well, as long as the beard is well groomed, not really all raggy. And again, it goes back. Professional is a subjective term. But, in the past, like I don't know when the U.S. military first started not allowing beards, but it used to. And this is old history, but it did used to. So it could open that can of worms a bit if they start allowing it for religious purposes. Then what's to say, like Tuke was saying, why can't the average soldier grow a beard?
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on this thing, but I'm just going to throw this out there. When you join the military, you do surrender a couple freedoms. You surrender a couple freedoms of speech, and freedom of religion falls under freedom of speech. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I wanted to add one thing real quick. The airport here in Tulsa also houses the fighter wing that uses F-16, so they're kind of loud, and people will move close to the airport and they complain about the noise. And I was like, you didn't know the airport was there when you moved here? And it's the same thing with these beards. You join an organization, there's certain rules. You think you'd know that before you join the Army, and then complain that, well, I can't have my beard after I join the Army. This was a rule before you joined.
Okay,
you went into it with your eyes wide open.
If I could add something to that, is that I have seen this. It was right before holiday block leave. We actually had a kid who came to 30th AG, and he had the turban and a beard. He was a Sikh. And when we told him to shave, he got free. He was like, whoa, what? I have to shave? Now, I know what everyone's saying. Oh, dirtbag, blah, blah, blah. No, his recruiter had told him straight up, you will be able to keep your beard. And so when he got here and he had to shave, I mean, the kid, I felt bad for him because he was like, no, I really, really want to be here, but I can't shave my beard. It's my religion. So we were like, well, sorry, man. We had to send him home. And he was actually a pretty squared away kid,
Wow.
Yeah.
So no more recruiter lies. We can have an whole nother podcast on that.
Yeah.
I think everybody's got a recruiter lie story.
All right, we'll just move on to the next topic. So, Josh, you wanted to talk about this Rainbow Rocks movie thing that's supposedly going around.
Apparently, for those that don't know, and I'd be shocked if you didn't, considering the way the fandom's been acting lately, Rainbow Rocks is it's rumored to be the next Equestria Girls movie. It's rumored to be a new movie. There's a new brand line, and there's a couple new designs, and Trixie, and of course, there's a lot of Trixie stuff. Sathista will tell you all about that. And bronies are up in arms over
It's the end of the
fandom.
fandom.
When are we not up in arms? Oh my God, we are the most volatile, sensitive fandom ever.
And I think that goes to the Sonic fandom. That goes to the Sonic fandom.
Well, yeah. But look, with Equestria Girls, I've said this before. It wasn't bad. It just, it was good for what it was, and it was successful.
It was a thing.
And it was successful, which guarantees more pony. Exactly. It was funny, like on the surface. It gave me the reason I keep watching the show. It gave me cute characters, and it made me laugh, and that's all I really care about. All the other characterization and plots and themes, all this stuff, that's just gravy. I'm there for the cute ponies and the lulz, and the movie gave me to it. And again, if they make another movie and it's successful, this guarantees the continuation of the franchise. So why are we so butthurt over this?
I don't know. And besides, it's still just a rumor. There is no confirmation. There's no press releases. There is no nothing. So getting up in arms over this thing is completely pointless. And besides, I actually hope it gets released because then I get to wear my bum costume again.
Yeah,
exactly,
and besides that, if you don't like it, don't go watch it.
That was the funniest thing you ever did, Josh, by the way.
Thank you.
The bum review. But also, I have to say this. I know exactly why people are upset. People are scared for their waifus because Brad's coming back.
We've got to stop bumping into each other like this.
Brad was in the last episode.
People, hold tight to your waifus, ladies and gentlemen, because the hotness of Brad is back.
Some pony's got a crush on the new guy.
In my analysis video of Saturday's episode, it's just, I'm like, oh, apparently he was there.
Yeah, well, first off, I would like to say that I did not even hear about this Rainbow Rocks thing because I don't spend any time whatsoever on EQD, but that's because I'm a freaking physics major, whatever. Second, the whole Equestria Girls thing, and it just amazes me beyond all belief why people just can't grasp this simple concept of who gives a crap what anyone else is doing, it has no effect on you. When I saw the stuff for Equestria Girls, I had absolutely no interest to see it. At the same time, though, I'm not going to knock anyone who goes to watch it. It doesn't look like my kind of movie, but if you go watch it, hey, knock yourself out. I don't care. I'm not going to spend the money to see it, but you, go for it. And it's going to be the same thing with this. Like, God, just freaking, who cares? If you don't want to see it, don't freaking see it.
I still say that people should give it a chance because, like Josh was saying, it's not a bad movie. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not great.
It was aight.
And that was the thing. People were expecting for a theatrical release of Pony that it's going to be great, but it's like, no, it was just good, you know?
Yeah, that's also what I'd like to see, honestly. It's just a Pony theoretical release. I don't want to see my favorite ponies slapped onto Bratz dolls, in my opinion.
If you're a physics major, you should probably spend more time on EQD just so you can calculate out the amount of force it takes to make a fandom collapse.
Very nice.
Hey.
Okay,
Look,
podcast over. We're done. Go home. Good night, everybody.
I can tell you
derivation for that.
I can tell you it's only about 2.5 newtons of force.
2.5 goof.
Really? All it takes is an image. All it takes is an image for bronies to go nuts.
And that image depends on the amount of force you have to apply to click your mouse. Over time.
But yeah,
I think that is 2.5 newtons.
Moving on.
I just see there's a whole lot of fedora tipping going on with this whole Equestria Girls hate, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, on the topic of fedoras, it's like people just really don't know how to pull that look off. It's like you need a suit to work with a fedora. You can't just wear a Hawaiian t-shirt with a fedora and a pocket watch and glasses and stuff. That just makes you look like a tool.
Okay. Staying away from the fedora sub-rail thing, whatever. Silvermane, go ahead.
It's just a hat. It doesn't make you smarter.
I don't think Navy finished his thought.
I just want to say real quick, people need to understand, Hasbro is a for-profit company. They're out to make money. They're not out to service the brony community. If they make a Equestria Girls, it's because they expect to make money off of it. It's not a slap in anybody's face or an insult. It's because it's there to make money. That's what they do. That's why there's even ponies on TV and the internet right now. Hasbro could say, you know, you guys are too much trouble. We're just going to shut the whole series down if they wanted to. It's their show, their IP, their intellectual property. And if they're making Equestria Girls, you don't like it, like you said, don't go watch it.
Now, to piggyback off of what Silvermane just said, that kind of feeds back into what I was trying to say earlier, which is if they're really looking to make money, why don't they follow the same format that is already successful? Like, I can understand, like, trying to put out a new toy franchise out there and advertising for it, but, I mean, with the popularity of the show where it's at right now, I don't see how they can't look at making a feature-length theatrical release of actual MLP and that not making the money.
Well, see, the thing is, they already have the market with ponies. This was them trying to break into a new market, the tween market. That's why it's different. They already have the, the little girls and the, basement-dwelling neckbeards. So right now, they're trying to get the tween girls and the really big neckbeards.
Which is why
your
we're setting high
information,
school.
I'm on the second floor.
Holy crap, this is all pretty much analogous to the Star Wars prequels and what George Lucas has done to Star Wars.
Okay, but
Sell
the
it to
big difference,
Disney?
the big difference between that is the Star Wars prequels actually suck.
That's true, though. That's
disagree.
the only difference.
We'll
Okay.
have to see what J.J. Abrams does with them.
Oh, Jesus.
Lots and lots of lens flare.
Just remind me
Speaking
of
of JJ,
that.
Lens flare and CG.
Speaking of J.J. Abrams, though, like when you look at the Star Trek fandom, I mean, our fandom's not the only ones that go through drama. When J.J. Abrams released the first, like, render of what the Enterprise would look like, and it didn't follow the canon that was established up to that point, Star Trek nerds were irate.
Rage!
The proctologist was overwhelmed, Dave.
All right, Josh, go ahead.
No, we completely got derailed. I forgot what I wanted to talk about.
Okay. All right. Silvermane, you mentioned Hasbro kind of not having to serve the fans that much. I want to take that and run with it and go into one of the topics you suggested, whether or not the show is pandering too much to bronies.
You go.
Right, I guess I can lead off. I'm going to say that I really don't believe that the show is pandering to bronies that much. I think the complaints that I've seen are kind of ridiculous because let's remember one of the reasons we got into this show is because of all of the ridiculous pop culture references and all the other stuff that was inherently in the show to begin with, like the fact that the Diamond Dog episode in season 1 was nothing but a gigantic David Bowie reference. So this show is known for this. So all of this stuff about pandering to bronies, I don't think they're doing anything more than what they would normally do. So.
Agreed.
Yeah.
No,
And besides, like bronies need to realize that they are not. It's like, yeah, you can. I know it feels like we're the majority audience, but we're not. We're only about 1/5.
Exactly, and it's okay. Where do I even start with this? All right. First off, how have they been pandering exactly? They have thrown one or two things into the episodes. Even with Derpy, she was there for a little bit and then she was gone. Other little nods to us, they're almost subconscious in a way. And even if they are saying, you know what, I'm going to put this in for the bronies. God forbid that a company out to make money tries to make its fans happy. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. Fuck off and die.
What a thing to say!
No company's ever done that before.
It's Discord. It's a given that he's a reality warper. It's a given that he'd lean on the fourth wall a little bit.
absolutely.
You say we're 1/5 of the audience, but you know what? Our 1/5 of the audience spends a whole lot of money on this stuff. So, and again, they are programming for the little girls. That's what they do. That's why the stories are a little simpler than the normal TV shows we're used to. But every now and then, this is all I've ever wanted for them, is every now and then just a little tip of the hat. Like,
And
okay,
besides,
little
it's not
girls,
like-
little girls, little
tip of the
girls,
hat.
and then, hey, exactly, and hey, bronies, we know you're there, we love you, and that's the essence of what Derpy is. It's just a little, hey, bronies, we know you're watching, we love you.
Yeah, it's like, and at least they're not bludgeoning us with it. Double rainbow.
Double. Oh my God. Okay,
Not
we
getting
should
into it. That is the
know.
animation of which we do not speak.
abort.
Moving
abort!
on.
I would say that there is if you actually watch some of the episodes, you'll actually notice how little physical violence actually takes place in the show. If you actually like really go ahead and look at the animation, you'll see it's almost rare to see a pony actually hit another pony without there being some sort of like magic or something else in there, and that should be an indication that they are trying to aim
Or
at
it takes
their
place off
audience.
screen.
Yeah, unless
Yeah,
it's
right.
like,
Or Pinkie Pie's having to twitch in their tail.
Or it doesn't involve tentacles.
Or it
Oh,
involves
God.
Dave. Or if it involves
I
Dave
think-
Polsky.
I
His
think
episodes are, Dave Polsky's episodes are violent.
Well, like one more thing I want to say about like the whole fan service and pandering thing. It's like, yeah, I mean, sure, yeah, they're kind of throwing the tip of the hat, but at the same time, I think it's also might be the work of the animators because like right now I'm storyboarding an animation project, and eventually it does get a little boring at parts. So you got to spice things up and have a little fun. Draw in a quick little reference thing, like one of the things that I do is for some background ponies who have really an unspecified look and just kind of whatever. I don't bother with the mane or any of that. I just draw a little hat on them and write something funny on it, and just to kind of keep myself and the animatic guys entertained. So it's part of that's probably just the animators and the storyboarders just having a little fun.
I agree with pretty much everything that's been said here. I've had really no issues with Season 4 so far. In fact, I've loved Season 4 so far. I think it's been awesome. And I haven't really noticed any excessive amount of fan pandering. I think it's just Brony is being a little bit ridiculous on certain things. I mean, Santra, you pointed it out. This show has made several pop culture references since season 1. This is nothing new, and for Bronies to suddenly, like, be up in arms about it, about something that's been a part of the show since season 1, it's like, I'm like, have you even been paying attention? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I have a few complaints with Hasbro. I think everybody does, but people need to remember they are a lot more lenient than they could be right now. If you see how Disney or Viacom acts on YouTube and with C&Ds and
terrible.
takedowns, I mean, yeah, they do some stupid stuff. Some of it's YouTube's fault, some of it's their fault, but they are way more lenient than they could be right now. And
Absolutely.
yeah, they keep pretty much of a hands-off attitude towards the Bronies, as long as we don't get too obnoxious. So. Yeah, I have some, like I said, I have some issues with them, but really they've been fairly restrained, I guess I'd say, in their responses to some of this stuff. I understand what happened with Fight Against Magic and MLP Online. They were in danger of losing their copyright or getting it challenged at least. So they weren't doing it just to be buttholes. It was because a legitimate threat to their copyright came up.
Okay. Another thing we're going to cover is the internet threat that kind of went around on 4chan or something like that and wandered its way around the Brony net.
Oh, screw 4chan, man. I mean, it's this kind of thing that I think is what pushes Bronies to freak out like that, is that we start believing our own press and that we are just so unique in this special little snowflakes. And no, we're a fandom like anyone else. And the reason people don't like us is because we get so loud and
delude
sensitive
ourselves
about this stuff. Exactly. We make ourselves sound like we're, this world change. Like, have you seen some of our documentaries? They make it out like we're the next coming of Jesus or something. Like, we're going to change the world and we're challenging people and blah, blah. It's like, dude, we're grown men who like a cartoon show. Get over it.
What was this threat? This is the first I've heard about it.
When it was 4chan put a thing and say they're going to target Bronies. Like, they're going to go on our message boards and, like, drown us out in posts or something. And it's, again...
it was specifically sending us death threats, pizzas, and...
they're going to send me pizzas? Awesome! I want a pizza!
I would say if
you can, give me a pizza. I really, really want a pizza.
Exactly.
That would be great. I'll give you my address if you'll give me a free
pizza.
pizza.
If nothing else, can you just send us the pizza?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the words of our illustrious former president, bring it on. Bring it on.
Okay. Navy.
So I think after looking at that picture and everything, and one thing that always strikes me about this is the anonymous thing at the bottom. And, it's like, this is script kiddie stuff. Like, when it comes to the actual group of Anonymous, their focus is net neutrality, free speech on the internet, and all this other stuff. Like, it's kind of hard to see the actual group of Anonymous, basically saying, no, we're going to silence this group online, because that's completely opposite of what they stand for.
Yeah.
I feel like Anonymous is bigger fish to fry than the Bronies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anonymous is
They
almost
don't
as
care.
bad as Bronies as far as being deluded as to how important they actually are.
Yes, thanks a lot for. Oh wait, no, that wasn't anonymous. That was Lulsec. Sorry. That took down Sony Online Entertainment. It's like, oh yeah, thanks for inconveniencing us.
Anyways, all I have to say about that thing is that it looks like it didn't take very long in MS Paint to go ahead and slap that together.
Yeah, right.
Probably, I could probably do
Right.
that in like 15 minutes.
I could slap that together in GIMP.
Yeah, it's
Gimp
not
is
even
awesome.
it's not really that serious to me. So
Yeah.
but whatever. All right. Another thing that came up over the comments on the YouTube section. This is mainly directed at Tweak and Josh because you guys were in the last podcast, but the rest of you can go ahead and try this out as well. And this is probably going to be the loudest one. Why do you hate Diamond Tiara?
Blank blanks.
She's a bull. She
my God.
is the
Okay,
bully.
allow me
She's
to
not a bully. She's the bully.
You only get to go
Exactly.
one at a time.
My problem with Diamond Tiara is just that. She was always the bully. Okay, fine, blah, blah, blah. But with Flight to the Finish, she really crossed the line into... I mean, even before she was a caricature of a bully, But even with this, it's like she went way too far. I mean, like, it's not ableist or racist or whatever, but yeah, it's like, okay, you're kicking a kid in a wheelchair, you little bitch.
You little fool.
Pretty
That's
much.
basically what you're doing. You're kicking a kid in a wheelchair. You're stealing the crutches and pointing at them as they laugh, as they fall down. It's like, oh my God, you are soulless. You are a word I can't say here because I don't want to offend people. I want to think of a new, more powerful word to describe how evil you are. You are Bungtralescent. Bungtralescent.
Bungtralescent.
That is how you are. You are Bungtralescent, Diamond Tiara.
Copyright FOB Equestria.
Copyright FOB Equestria. Dude.
All right, go ahead, Navy.
So I don't necessarily, I mean, I despise both the characters, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon, but from watching Ponyville Confidential, which is actually like probably one of my favorite episodes, it kind of puts her in a new light where I don't really see her as much as being the big bad bully as she's just a spoiled brat. And when she's like by herself, she doesn't seem like she's that bad, but it's when she's with Silver Spoon that she gets really bad. So it's kind of like my own little headcanon that Silver Spoon is kind of like the meanest of the mean, and she's kind of the enabler to having Diamond Tiara turn on her bad side.
See, I always kind of saw it. It always seemed to me like Silver Spoon was the sidekick of the two, for me. So, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but that would make that Diamond Tiara is the one person that, or Silver Spoon is the one that Diamond Tiara is trying to impress because she's the only one that's kind of bought into her bullcrap, you know? And I always, I mean, I know people don't like shipping, whatever, but I always got this sense of Silver Spoon of, maybe now Senpai Diamond Tiara will notice me.
Senpai?
Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
I just hate Diamond Tiara because I've seen her everywhere. I've seen her in Wedding Crashers. I've seen her in It. I've seen her in pretty much every single Adam Sandler movie. I've seen her in every single, like, Disney tween high school drama. She is everywhere. She was not done uniquely here. She's not interesting. She is boring. I don't want to know anything about her. She's just the bully.
Hell, I've seen her in 3rd grade.
Yeah, she's an empty character. She's not even a character. She's just a shell. She's a placeholder. Okay, we need drama for the CMC. Diamond Tiara!
Yeah, she's just there to just move the plot forward. She's not a character. She's a tool.
That's exactly what she is. She's just so one-dimensional. She just serves her purpose. Someone to hate and help move the story along. Kind of like the bad guys in James Cameron's Avatar.
Yeah, especially
or
those,
any
like, if you're gonna make a villain, if you're gonna make an antagonist, make them interesting. I can handle one-dimensionality in like an introductory episode because, well, I'm gonna be honest here. Like for the first season, most of the characters were a little one-dimensional. It's like, okay, I can deal with that. All right, but we've gotten to the 4th season, and Diamond Tiara is just still a bully. What's her motivation for being a bully? Why is she doing this? I can't sympathize with her at all. She's just a bully.
But tell us how you really feel, Josh.
I don't like her.
I'm not too fond of her either.
I actually think that there is a bit that you could actually dig into the Diamond Tiara character if you actually dig into her father, Filthy Rich. Because if you look at the only couple times we've seen him, he hasn't actually been like, and he's not the stereotypical wealthy aristocratic CEO. But yeah, he's not a fat cat. He's not like some sort of Wall Street broker. He just happens to be the owner of a business that's doing well. And apparently he's in a good relationship with the Apple family. And he doesn't seem like a jerk. I mean, he even brought Diamond Tiara over to the Apple farm to interact with them with that whole Zap Apple Jam episode. So I wonder if there could be like an episode about bringing up like maybe Filthy Rich as like a kind of a distant parenting style, and then maybe Diamond Tiara kind of takes that out at school and all this other stuff. That could actually be something of a lesson where at the end of the day, Diamond Tiara sees what she did wrong, and maybe she breaks up her friendship with Silver Spoon. I think there's something that could be explored in that relationship,
Yes,
but I'm not
that's
sure
the
if they
thing.
want
it's
to.
Not.
Yeah.
It's not explored. That's the problem. You're just implying everything. It's like, remember, this is a little girl's show, and we shouldn't be reading... And I know I sound like the biggest hypocrite by saying this, but bronies make molehills out of the tiniest details. Remember the whole Slenderman thing? Oh my gosh, Slenderman's canon. It's like, guys, it was either an animation error or just an Easter egg. You guys need to stop blowing up over the smallest things.
I didn't even see that.
And the thing is that the whole implied relationship with Diamond Tiara and Filthy Rich, that's all it is. That's all it is. Implied. It's like, yeah, he's a good father. Does Diamond Tiara have a mother? We don't know. We have to wait till the episode actually explains that. But for now, Diamond Tiara sucks.
Well, maybe it's just not ready to be explored yet.
They kicked the dog by making fun of Scootaloo not being able to fly. Okay, I think there's no holds barred.
Okay, now for probably the most unpopular opinion here. Go ahead, Silvermane.
I don't have a problem personally with Diamond Tiara. I think there's something, like you said, all we can go on now is what we've been shown so far. Unless we want to get into fan, and then, that way lies madness, as I always say.
Yeah.
But all we can do is go by what we have. But I really don't have a problem with her. She's a child. She's spoiled and a brat, but not basically inherently evil. And as far as what we've seen Filthy Rich act, didn't he at one time tell Granny Smith, she said, call him filthy? She said, no, call me Filthy Rich or Mr. Rich or something.
I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, when they were at the Apple family farm. He corrected her and didn't want her to call him by his first name, I think, or something. So,
well, I think that was actually...
There. We can speculate all day long until, like Sandra said, until we see it in the show, it's all speculation. But I really don't hate her. She's a caricature, I agree, but she's just a child.
So was Veruca, and she was hilarious.
Veruca Salt.
Actually, Silvermane.
And I want it now. That's funny. Diamond Tiara is not. These good bullies like that kid from The Simpsons or that guy from Inglourious Bastards. Oh my gosh. He was evil and spoiled and haughty and snooty, but he was having so much fun with it. It's like Diamond Tiara, she's just, ugh.
Are we really saying Diamond Tiara could be improved by becoming a Nazi from Inglourious Bastards?
Apparently. I mean, we're going there.
Well, she's taken one step in that direction. It's like, she's like, oh, yeah, Pegasus can't fly. Earth Pony's master race.
Okay, I did want to say, Silvermane, actually, I think the thing you were referring to was actually when Cheer Lee referred to Filthy Rich as filthy. And, I'm not sure if that's like an expression of haughtiness or if that's the fact that he really hates his first name, like M.A. Larson. So.
I don't know. We've only really seen him speak twice, so it's hard to get a grasp on his character. We'll just have to wait. He's a background character used to advance a point of the story, and that's all he is so far. I don't see him exploring the back. I mean, they've done a little bit more of exploring the background ponies this season, especially with, and I hate this name, bulk biceps, but...
Yeah, right.
Yeah! Maybe we'll see more background character development. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else have any other topics?
Nope.
Well,
okay.
Not really, but I mean, so I just want to get everyone's feedback on the most recent episode this weekend, if you've seen it.
I already did an analysis.
Yeah, and I already posted my review, so I said all I need to say.
All right.
I didn't see it. I was back home shooting guns.
I just wanted to say, like, this episode, the most recent episode, Three's a Crowd, really gave me a new appreciation for John Delancey.
It didn't break you, Spangle.
How could you not appreciate John Delancey enough?
Okay, I wholeheartedly appreciate John Delancey. I mean, my first exposure to him was Q in Star Trek Next Gen, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And I thought it was great when he was Discord, but I mean, come on, the musical number, yes.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Plus, you ain't never had a friend like me.
Thanks. It looks like he has a good time playing Discord too.
Oh, I got another one. I'm blue, da ba dee da ba da ba dee da ba da.
Blue flu.
Yeah, and then the graboids. And I know they said, "Oh no, it's a tinsel worm." Hey, you know what? Don't put rabbit turds in my hand and tell me they're milk duds. It's a goddamn graboid.
There was so much in that.
It's like, oh, I saw that thing. My first reaction, oh shit, someone get Kevin Bacon.
Spoiler alert. Stop.
Stop it. Okay, no more talking because someone of us hasn't seen the episode.
But also, I just want to make the comment, that train was badass.
That
train was like, I saw that thing, I'm like, holy crap, that is the most thick-ass looking train I've ever seen.
I got a really a real crack theory here. You know how the how Fluttershy left on the train and then that train came in the same direction? I'm wondering if the train actually...
Oh god.
That's terrible.
Breaking my balls, Josh. Breaking my balls.
Also, that brings up the subject of the Breezies. Are they going to bring them into the series?
Who
All you
knows?
guys
Who
are breaking
knows?
my
Who
balls.
cares? Let's just watch for that. Let's just wait for the episode. I don't like speculating.
As long as it's not sea ponies, I'm happy.
Shooby-doo, shooby-doo.
At this point, I almost want sea ponies to show
Yeah,
up.
do you know what I want them to be called? I want them to be called Kelpies.
Kelpies, that would be better.
All right, if that's it, then that's going to conclude our podcast. If you have any comments, go ahead and leave them in the comments section of YouTube or email them to us or leave them in the comment section of our post on the website. If you have any podcast suggestions, again, do the same thing, email or leave in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you and see what we can include on the next podcast. So have a good day, bronies. For FOB Equestria, this is Saunterhoof signing off. Everyone else, sign off one at a time, starting with Joe.
Sign off.
Close enough. Josh?
You know I'm not going to say it.
Bye.
Navy?
See ya.
Spangle?
Well, I guess I'll see you all in about 6 months after I'm done deployed.
Bye.
Yeah. Until then, I guess I'll say Semper Philly.
See you all next season, except this season.
Silvermane?
I'll say it again, too. Semper Philly, every pony. See you next time.
Tweak?
Till next time, stay safe, stay free, stay in metal. Semper Philly.
Semper Philly.